Hello, Alec.
Evening, Eric. How's it going?
Fine, thank you. Did you call me into the panelist or was this link automatic?
Yeah, so I made you a panelist. You're gonna have to let me know who else from the applicant side to bring over.
Yeah, okay, so Allison Koo and Ken Rodriguez
Gotcha.
will be the other two.
I'll look for them as they show up.
Okay. Very good. Alec,
Yes.
I see that Councilmember Jones was in the attendees.
I'm here.
Did you move him up? Oh, there you are.
I just made him a panelist.
Yeah,
All right.
they moved me over.
Hello,
Just
Vice
wanted to make
Mayor.
sure you saw it.
Thanks
Yeah.
for looking out.
Well, yeah, we don't want to block out the only Raiders fan on the meeting.
Well, we have to take a poll. Do one of those Zoom polls. I think I have a lot of backup on this meeting.
Yeah. So I traveled to Dallas for
I
the
saw on Facebook.
game, and the outcome wasn't what I would have preferred.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
Yeah, but my daughters and I had a good time. It was fun.
Yeah. Well, the Dallas players and the Raider players have, one thing in common, that they're going to be watching the playoffs from your couch.
That's right. They're only going to the Super Bowl if they buy a ticket.
That's right.
Oh well. All right. Alec,
Yes, Eric.
Yeah, so Steve Lynch is with Sandhill Properties, and I see he has his hand waved. He may want to be moved up to panelist. He's part of our team.
Gotcha. I just made him a panelist.
I don't know why he has his hand waved. Hello, Steve. Can you hear us?
I just raised my hand to say hello. How are you guys doing?
Oh, that was it. Okay. Well, by waving your hand, you got moved up to being a panelist.
I was just waving. I'm good.
Okay.
Let me know.
Okay. Well, you can sit in the panel if you want. Doesn't matter.
I will be here.
Okay. And Alec, I see Allison Koo now in the
I
logged
got
on.
Allison moved over. Just waiting for Ken, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
You're not working on Cambrian Plaza, are you? Alec?
Me? No,
Yeah.
I'm lucky not to not have two signature projects.
Good. Good.
Just the one for now. Vice Mayor Jones, did you want to have your staff on the panelist side or on the attendees side?
It'd be great to have them on the panelist side.
Yeah. So Alec, I see Nan Nguyen and Rania Mosen on the attendee side currently.
What was the second name, Eric?
Rania Mosen.
I got it. Okay. Is everybody here on your side now, Eric?
Has Ken come yet?
Or maybe not. Let me look.
We're just waiting for Ken.
Okay.
Oh, and I see Vice Mayor Jones's staff member, Annalie Damabe.
Yep. And I just got Ken as well.
Okay. Then with that, we should be set.
Okay, I think we have everybody from the city side as well, from city staff.
Okay.
All right, so then let's get started. Good evening, everybody. My name is Alec Atienza. I'm the planning project manager with the city's planning division. Before we get started, I just want to go over a couple items. I know we have a lot of people here tonight, but I just want to let everybody know that you're going to be placed on mute until we open up the meeting for public comment. Secondly, this meeting is being recorded. And then lastly, I just want to let everybody know that this is a community meeting and not a public hearing. Therefore, no approval of the project will take place today. The project will eventually be heard at a planning commission and a city council hearing, so both. And then I want to let everybody know that tonight we have Vice Mayor Jones in attendance. We also have representatives from the applicant team. So we have Eric Schoenauer, Ken Rodriguez, and Allison Koo. And we also have city staff from Planning Division, Environmental Planning, Public Works Traffic Team, as well as Parks and Recreation. So next, I want to go over the agenda for the night. So first, I'm just going to provide a brief update and overview of the planning process, as well as the status of the project. And then we'll allow the applicant to present the project itself. And then lastly, we're going to open up the meeting to questions and comments from you, the community members. So next, I want to briefly go over just the site, the context of the site, as well as what's changed from when this project was last presented to you in October of 2020. So the project site is located both on the north and eastern side of the intersection of Saratoga Avenue, Lawrence Expressway, and Quito Road. That encompasses a portion of the existing El Paseo Shopping Center, as well as a commercial site on the northern end of that intersection. The project that was presented at the last community meeting, October of 2020, did include a school component. And I just want to be clear that in this current plan development permit proposal, the project does not include that school component. Instead, it includes a plan development rezoning. I can sign out of Zoom. Can everybody still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, it's like my Zoom signed me out. Oh, all right, still good. Excuse me. Okay, so a plan development rezoning from the CP and CG zoning districts to a PD plan development zoning district. And the next portion of the project is a plan development permit, and that would allow the demolition of approximately 126,000 square feet of existing commercial space, as well as the removal of 121 trees. And in that place, it would allow the construction of 4 mixed-use buildings consisting of 994 residential units, 160,000 square feet of commercial space, 1.1 acre publicly accessible park, as well as underground parking. And in addition, a side portion of this project includes a conditional use permit and determination of public convenience or necessity for off-sale alcohol, as well as extended construction hours and backup power generation. In terms of the project review process, so this project is currently in the 3rd round of review. The most recent plan set is available for viewing on the planning website at sanjoseca.gov. With regards to the environmental review portion of the project, the draft environmental impact report was circulated from November 15th, 2021 to November 29th, 2021. And at this point in the project review, city staff is reaching out to you, the communities, the neighbors, for feedback on the project. And the comments made tonight, notes taken, will be incorporated into the public record, but I want to let everybody know that this is not the last chance you have to provide comments. I'll provide my email and contact information at the end of this project. You can also email me any of your comments or questions. And then lastly, so upon a complete review of the planning application, this project will be heard at both a planning commission hearing and city council hearing. So planning commission hearing for a recommendation on the project, and a city council hearing where the city council will be the final decision-making body. And much like this community meeting, both of those hearings will be publicly noticed. If anybody has not received a notice, please reach out to me and I will make sure that you are on the list for any future hearing dates. So with that, I'll stop talking and let the applicant present the project details. Eric, I'm going to stop sharing. I think either you or Ken should be able to share.
All right, I'll start briefly while Ken calls up the presentation. And I'm sorry, I just wanted to ask, did Vice Mayor Jones want to make an opening comment before we proceed?
No, I'm okay. Go ahead and proceed. Thank you.
Okay, great. So just briefly, I
Eric,
wanted to.
Excuse me 1 second, Eric. Could I just ask Alec if you could bring up, there you go. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I just wanted to give a summary of the process that we are following as a developer. So the city has a general plan, which is called the Envision 2040 General Plan, and it is a blueprint for future development and how do we accommodate the growth that is planned for our city. And the Envision 2040 General Plan has a strategy to accommodate 382,000 new jobs and 120,000 new housing units. One of the key components of the city's strategy is to focus these jobs and these housing units in what's called urban village planning areas. There are 61 urban village planning areas throughout the city of San Jose. And the Paseo de Saratoga is one of those 61 urban village planning areas. In the Paseo de Saratoga Urban Village Plan, the general plan calls for at least 1,069 new residential units in this vicinity of Paseo de Saratoga, and it calls for 1,500 jobs, which is the equivalent to 450,000 square feet of new commercial space. To give people a sense of scale, the Westgate Shopping Center is 645,000 square feet. So the city is planning to add commercial space equal to 2/3 of the Westgate Shopping Center in this neighborhood. So as designers and developers, we must meet the city's requirements to achieve housing growth at or above 55 units to the acre, job growth that is planned for the urban village area, as well as open space, and a key component of designing a vibrant urban gathering place for the community. So our project is working to fit into the prescribed requirements of San Jose's general plan. So with that, I will turn it over to Ken to go over the details of the plan.
Yeah, I'm going to let Allison actually take these first few slides,
Okay.
and then I will jump in under the design section, which is about halfway through.
Okay, great. Thanks, Eric. And thank you to Alec and the staff. And thank you to Vice Mayor Jones and his office, as well as to all the community members tonight and throughout the process for your continued engagement on this project. When we started this back in 2019, we couldn't have ever imagined what we've all gone through the last couple of years. Yet despite the challenges and uncertainties we've all faced, we are still committed to bringing this community a high quality project that continues to deliver on the priorities that we initially set out to achieve. This project remains committed to providing high quality architecture, walkability, activation, vibrancy, all the great things that we heard that people are looking for. And further, as a result of a lot of community outreach and feedback, as we announced last spring and as mentioned earlier tonight, we have completely removed the educational option or use from our project altogether, even though it's still being studied under the EIR. And we are now moving forward with a more traditional mixed use project that has commercial on the first and second floors and residential above. As a part of this project, we have remained committed to extensive community outreach. Even during the pandemic, we continue to meet with community members, both safely in person and via Zoom. And I believe to date, we have had over 40 meetings, including larger format meetings, one of which happened right before everything shut down back in 2020. And out of those meetings, we got a lot of good feedback, which helped really drive a lot of the decision-making and direction of this project. One clearly is that we got rid of the educational use. Another is that we kept hearing that this district in particular is lacking in some park and open space. And so that really drove a lot of our design to put over almost nearly 1,100 parking stalls underground and create a 2-story underground parking garage that allows us to open up space above and create 3.5 acres of open space and over an acre of a dedicated park space for the community to enjoy. And we also continue to enhance and protect the natural berm that exists along the backside of the project and work to create good commercial spaces that allow for activation and engagement. And finally, we continue to commit to our to offering affordable housing not only as a part of our project, but on our project, which is not a small feat, especially in the current market conditions. So we're pretty proud of that feature that continues to remain. And just to touch a little bit more on the residential, I think it was mentioned earlier, we currently have submitted for around 990 units. And you'll note that the EIR does study higher unit count, but that's just to make sure that we have a more conservative analysis on the impacts. And our mix of unit types are very consistent with what this market is demanding, with a mix of 1s, 2s, 3s, and studios. And again, we are working to offer and design the affordable component on site as a part of our project. And I think the big thing that we did want to announce today, it's a pretty exciting part of our project. We heard throughout our discussions with the community that there was still kind of a void left in the market after Lucky's closed, and people would like to see another grocery come back to this location. And so we worked really hard, and we're excited to finally be able to announce publicly that Whole Foods will be the commercial anchor for this project. And it will come in the first building that will go up in this project. And Whole Foods is really excited to be a part of this project as well, because they really see that the design of this project is very complementary to their goals and priorities, and offers a great opportunity not only to offer a grocery, but also to be able to have great opportunities to engage with the community by hosting events and seasonal events and farmers markets along the Paseo. So that design element was really critical to their decision-making to join the project as well. So we're very excited today to be able to announce that. And I think that really shows to the quality of the project that we are bringing forward to the community here. And finally, I think just to reiterate and show kind of the thoughtfulness that we've taken throughout our design process. This is just a photo of a neighbor's backyard that is adjacent to our project. And we really wanted to help illustrate kind of how our project will interact with our neighbors once the project is up. And so this project shows the current perspective of the project next door. Then we went and did an overlay of the building that would sit adjacent to the neighbor's backyard to show kind of what would be the visual line of sight from that exact perspective. And we went even further to kind of detail out when we started introducing our proposed new landscaping along the berm, what that would look like, and show and take away kind of the unknown factor of what it would look like once it's up, and even further address later on when the trees have had a time to mature and grow, what that looks like. And I think that just illustrates a little bit further kind of the sensitivity that we're taking in our approach to our design, and really to kind of take the uncertainty out of what will be next door. And this is the type of thing that as we continue to move in this process, and clearly there are more opportunities to engage, we would offer that up also to any other neighbor that would like to see that as well, because this is the type of thing that I think that is much more in fact impactful and informative of how this will play out and what it will look like in the future. So with that, I think I'll turn it over to Ken to go a little bit more into the design.
Excuse me, Allison, is there a way to maximize the screen so that the images are as large as possible?
Is that any better?
Yeah, I think that is better. You might hit the plus button up here by the hand up to the right and see if you can't enlarge. There you go. Maybe not. Let's go back to where you had it. Sorry. Okay, so these slides that I'm going to go through are, and I'll go through them quickly because I want to get to questions and comments from from the public. But initially, we sat down and tried to work through the big idea or the big concept of developing a living street, something that really works for outdoor pedestrians. It works for outdoor seating and outdoor dining. It knits and ties together the entire project and could have some automobiles, as shown on some of these shots, occasionally on it. But in reality, the street is going to be a shared space, and it's going to deal with human interactions. Let's go to the next slide. This is the overall site plan. The project is down in the left-hand corner in the darker sand color drawings, as well as across the street, across Saratoga Avenue at 1777 Saratoga Avenue. That makes up the entire project. This first drawing is an entire retail floor. This is the first floor of the building, completely commercial space. And that's great. There you go. And it shows that living street kind of in the left-hand side right there as it goes back up, connects to the park and back up to the north, and then connects to the existing promenade in front of all of the, the REI, the theater, and some of the other retail users. And we've enhanced that promenade so that this ties together and then connects directly to Quito, which will be a really nice public entrance for the neighborhood or anyone who walks or bikes into the project. Next slide. This just shows the pedestrian circulation, which I just talked about. We have really looked at the entire ground plane of this Main Street concept and located all the commercial with its entries off of this Main Street, as well as some to the east. And then we've enhanced the pedestrian circulation across to 177 Saratoga with a new all signal four-way stop light now and an enhanced crosswalk system that will connect all of the buildings, and new pedestrian paths that will move down West Campbell Avenue, connecting the neighborhood, and across West Campbell Avenue. So a lot of new pedestrian and bicycle circulation that we're proposing. Next slide. Again, this is the vehicular circulation plan. We've tried to simplify it. Today, there are many sort of different avenues driving down some of the existing parking aisles. They're a little difficult sometimes to navigate. So we've added a few turnaround elements that will organize the site, and then reworking some of the parking and landscape areas to make those drive aisles and stalls simpler. You can see the arrow on the left-hand side at Quito Road going into what looks like the one building. That is an entrance to the underground parking below that Alec mentioned, the amount of stalls. We also have another entry at the north side off of the northwest turnaround or turnabout right there that goes down into the parking garage. So a couple of different ways to get in and out of the project when you park underground for the residential parking as well as some of the commercial parking. Next slide. This is the open space plan that Allison talked about 3.5 acres. The element in sort of the light green in the middle is the new 1.1 acre public park. The green to the south, that is the existing berm, will be enhanced, and you will see some landscape plans about that tonight. But I would encourage for those who want to see that interface to go onto the city's website, look at the landscape plans. It's highly detailed. Trees are not coming out, they're being added there. And then the yellow is the open space with the outdoor seating, the pedestrian walkways that connect what we call Main Street to the promenade. So next slide. So these are some renderings. You can see the signage for Whole Foods directly on the first slide here, right there. This is in what we call Building 3, and it will be adjacent to the REI building, connecting that promenade to the existing retail, as well as the new Main Street, which runs right down the middle of it. We have tiered the buildings in terms of height to the northern part of the site. The tallest buildings are on the northern part of the site, which of course is much further away from the existing residential neighborhood, and places it, I think, in a good location where parking is, as well as a visual piece that anchors the project. So let's go to the next slide. Which is just a close-up of the Main Street. And there you can see the outdoor seating that Whole Foods will have. They will open out directly onto the Main Street with a lot of seating and their prepared foods section of their project. It'll be enhanced prepared foods, and I think really be an asset to the neighborhood and to some of the community, all of the community members, but many of which have asked for a grocer back. But I think also we'll have this beautiful outdoor and indoor seating element that would be located right off Main Street. Let's go to the next slide. This is a slide at the north side of Main Street. And so you can see that this Main Street itself and connection is really built for pedestrians. While a car could get in, or early morning delivery trucks could get in Main Street, it will be this pedestrian bicycle connection. Very important to the community. It was very important as a design feature that we always wanted to incorporate into the project. And I think you can also see that the housing units, as well as the commercial, open out onto it, getting 24/7 eyes onto that, and a real active and exciting space, as Allison had mentioned, one of the design goals. Let's go to the next slide if we could. This is across the street at 1777 Saratoga, and you can see that we have retail on the ground floor, a big open plaza that will occur at Saratoga and the start of Lawrence Expressway and the Quito intersection there right at the corner. Be able to have some outdoor dining and a very active pedestrian space with the residential up above it. Next slide. So this upper slide we wanted to show because the existing neighborhood on this upper slide is on the right-hand side where all the text is right there. And so we wanted to show a 3-story interface that exists right at the park area that we're creating. We have enhanced the existing berm to include more open space. And then we have stepped the building back away from that residential neighborhood to the south and tiered up the housing units to the northern part of the site, as I suggested before. Let's go to the next slide, which shows that a little bit better. This is a detailed slide that shows the existing berm right there. It's being shown. It shows the open space to the left of that, which will be new. Quite a large setback. It exceeds the city's regulation for setbacks. After talking to the neighborhood at length and other members of the community, this was an important design feature. The red line that exists on the right-hand side is the line that you could build up to by the current zoning and code. We chose to push the project way back to the north. As I said, have a 3-story, about 30 feet, not much taller than some of the existing 2-story houses that are in the neighborhood at that edge, and then tiered the project back up to the north to where the bulk right there of the residential housing units start there and work to the north. So I think that was something that we heard loud and clear. This also shows the underground parking to the left-hand side. And then we have some fully wrapped and concealed parking that would be inside the residential and commercial building, what we call building 2. So next slide, please. And these are the landscape plans. I would encourage you, as I said, to go to the website to really look at these. We're trying to create a vibrant outdoor spaces with lots of seating, planters, unique lighting, art, sculpture, water features. We have quite a bit going on this Main Street concept. And then we've tied the Main Street concept to the new park, which will be out on Quito. That was a location that many residents felt, instead of the park being inboard, why can't we pull it out to Quito? The city park staff also recommended that. So we really listened, we heard that, and this park now sits out on the corner. And then the existing berm will be untouched. The new park area will not encroach into the existing park. It will be added to, the existing berm, it will be added to, and also be a continued and added buffer. Let's go to the next slide. So this one, as the tree types, we're trying to develop a variety of different tree types, different flowering trees that will flower at different times of the season. We also have some tall accent trees and a few palm trees to mark Main Street. And then inside Main Street and along the park edge are these beautiful flowering fruit trees and flowering shrubbery. Very drought tolerant shrubbery, as well as many native plant materials. So I would encourage you to look at this palette, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. And the next and last slide is a lighting plan. And many times projects, the existing center might be a good example, don't have a lot of lighting other than utilitarian lighting for parking lot and maybe some walkway lighting. We're adding to this project a lot of exciting night lighting that could be used as sculpture, could be used as art, could be used as tremendous accent lighting for these new trees, and then maybe some light sculpture and overhead lighting that you would sit under and enjoy, a warm evening and sitting outside having dinner. So with that, the next slide is opening up for discussion. I'll turn it back over to Eric and Alec.
Thank you, Ken. So in the interest of time, let's just jump right into public comment. I'm going to have John, too, the supervising planner, run the unmute and mute button. And then we're going to give everybody, since we have about 124 panelists, I see. Can you see the counter? Anybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
We're going to give everybody 1 minute to speak. And if we go through a lot of hands, we'll try to jump back if we have some time to anybody who wants to speak again. So with that, John, take it away.
Just be aware, this isn't the only opportunity to provide comments. We just wanted to provide you an opportunity to provide your comments here. Staff will be taking notes, and to the extent at the end of taking the comments, we'll provide you comments back. But once again, Alex will provide his contact information as well as the applicant. Can Corey Smith please unmute yourself?
Good evening, Corey Smith on behalf of the Housing Action Coalition. We're a regional nonprofit that advocates for more homes at all income levels. And while we have not had the pleasure of formally reviewing this proposal and excited to do that in the future, generally speaking, we're really excited about what we're seeing here. A huge improvement over what is currently there. The idea that we get to build housing, that we get to build affordable housing on site in a place that's frankly not maximizing its current land use value. It's just a win all the way around. Really commends the walkability and bikeability and connectivity of the project. Again, a lot of housing, a lot of open space, commercial space that makes sense, and bike parking. There is one piece of it that quite frankly we don't absolutely love, and that is the tremendous amount of on-site car parking. We totally understand how it is crucial for financial feasibility and lending to include parking, and just would encourage people to consider and encourage the project team to consider, if that parking doesn't get utilized to its fullest capacity in the future, what sort of adaptive reuses could be considered in order to make sure we're really maximizing that space, because as we all know, parking is incredibly expensive to build. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sorry, the timer kind of paused.
No worries, appreciate it. Thank you.
That's my bad. Sorry.
Bob Levy, please unmute yourself.
Great. Thank you for the opportunity here. First, I'd like to compliment the plan on the pedestrian and bicycle circulation element of it. But to complete the plan, the circulation element, there does need to be a break in the berm. Otherwise, you create this island where people cannot go in and out of that neighborhood into the project. And so I think it's really necessary to do that. Otherwise, you force people to go to Quito rather than to be able to walk or bike into the project. Also appreciate the underground parking. And I'm really happy to hear about Whole Foods, because with Trader Joe's, Sprouts, and potentially Costco across the street, this will be a shopping mecca. I'm concerned about the proposal consuming too much of the overall urban village allocation. It's only a small percentage of all urban village. And finally, there's far too little parkland. Based on the plan, there's going to be approximately 2,000 new residents. The general plan calls for 3.5 acres per 1,000 resident, and the plan only calls for really 1 acre of parkland.
Thank you, Bob. John Oberstar, please unmute yourself.
Yep. Hi, I'm a resident Baker West neighborhood, and I support almost all aspects of the site development, but I really object to the proposed building heights of 12 and 11 stories. And outside of downtown San Jose, I'm not aware of building heights like these in any other San Jose neighborhood or anywhere in the surrounding Campbell, Saratoga, Santa Clara areas. And basically for density and traffic reasons, I request that the building heights be restricted to 8 stories. I am aware of a number of projects, new projects under discussion for Lawrence, Saratoga prospect area. These include Costco, the Quito Village project on Cox, the Christmas tree lot on Saratoga Avenue, and a potential development at Prospect and Lawrence in Saratoga. So basically, I'm concerned about the ability of Lawrence and Saratoga to support traffic as well as freeway access to 85 and 280 for a fraction of these projects, let alone if all of them are approved. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Daniel Rhodes, please unmute yourself.
Yes, hi, good evening. I'm a resident of Saratoga. I live down in the Brookview area, and I've been following the project. And I have to say, as I said in my EIR, this project makes no sense. You're putting in approximately 1,900, almost 2,000 parking spaces because there's no mass transit system through this area. There's one bus route, 57, which goes nowhere, straight up Saratoga Avenue. The other point is all the jobs in this area are in the north area in Sunnyvale. So unless you're going to have Facebook, Google, and Lockheed and et cetera move down there, all the traffic is going to be going north on Lawrence Expressway. So you can sell it all you want as a beautiful setup and the scenery, but for the people that live around this area, it's going to be a disaster. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. David Snow and Rosemary, please unmute yourself.
Yes, hi. I'm curious as to what the plans are for the existing commercial space to the east of this, what you call the REI building and the theater area. The plans here are just screaming out that this is phase 1 and that there's a phase 2 to do something similar in the middle of the shopping center and to the far east side. So I was wondering if there were any comments in that area.
Is that your only question?
That's the only question.
Okay, Eric, do you want to take the rest of his 30 seconds to respond to that?
Yeah, I mean, there currently is no plan to redevelop the rest of the center. REI owns their own site. REI owns their own property. So it's their decision on what they do with their property.
Thank you, Eric. Don Hendrick, please unmute yourself.
Yes. My name My name's Don Herrick. I'm a resident of Baker West. Baker West is shown as just little blocks on the bottoms of the diagrams there, but we are we're a 1950s home neighborhood, single story. This is a neighborhood that's it's just a wonderful place to live. Putting in 10, 11, 12-story buildings next door to it is just inappropriate. Restrictive zoning policies of cities, extremely important. You don't want manufacturing next to residents, whatever. Well, you don't want skyscrapers next to residents either. I think the diagram showing basically the berm and the buildings was deceptive because it was shown from Elmwood. The neighborhood is much larger than Elmwood. I believe the neighborhood will be impacted by these 1,000 residents. Inappropriate.
Thank you, Don. Art, Keo Cow, please unmute yourself.
Yes, a couple questions. Is any solar going to be added to these projects? If you build these buildings, you got lots of big roof space. There should be some solar for power generation. The other question is, what is the ratio of bedrooms being built to parking places? Like several other people have mentioned, I'm very concerned about the traffic impact to both Prospect and Saratoga Avenue and Lawrence Expressway. And the other is, what is being done to bring in some more public transit to this area? There's, as one person said, there's one bus that goes nowhere.
Thank you, Art. Catherine Hedges, please unmute yourself.
Thank you. I agree with the comments earlier about adding access from the berm instead of making everybody walk over to Keto. I am very happy that the developers have really listened to the community about this project. I understand there are still some complaints about it, but it's important that San Jose have more housing. And I'm glad that you're incorporating affordable housing on site instead of paying the in lieu fees and kicking the can down the road. So thank you for that. I do have some concerns about the upward facing lights because light pollution is a worldwide problem. And I imagine it would be annoying for the tenants in the apartments too. And I hope VTA can change their bus routes when there's a large project like this. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Gary Smith, please unmute yourself.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'd like to echo the comments of speakers. The 8 stories, I'd much prefer seeing 8 stories than 12 stories, and then just work with the project to put the housing. I echo with the speaker with the affordable housing. Okay, but let's keep it at 8 stories or less. Let's put in the affordable housing, and let's work with Saratoga because they're actually meeting tonight to finalize what their housing plan will be. And as of last night, they're proposing a 10-story multi-use project within a stone's throw of this project. And I asked them, I encouraged them, try to tone that back because they've never had anything more than like 3 stories in the whole city. So, you know, look to VTA, look to Caltrans, look to Santa Clara County, look to the West Valley Sanitation, talk with Saratoga, but please keep the building heights lower than you're proposing. I live on English Drive in West San Jose, about 3 blocks from Lawrence Expressway. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Diane Lubinar, please unmute yourself. Diana Lubinar, thank you.
Hi, thank you. I have 2 questions. One regarding what prevents Whole Foods / Amazon from expanding the scope of their businesses and their business into such that it would be maybe turning into an Amazon warehouse locker or something like that. Is there anything preventing that from happening? Also, I'd like to request that the landscape and building lighting be less impactful onto the light pollution front, like the previous person had mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you, Diana. Vincent Rocha, please unmute yourself.
Hi, Vince Rocha, the Vice President of Housing and Community Development with the Silicon Valley Leadership Group. I'm really excited about an urban village plan like this, especially that includes affordable housing and high density housing. As a member of the General Plan Task Force, we saw that high density housing actually is a net financial benefit to the city in terms of contributing enough revenue for services like police and fire. We also see that San Jose needs to develop 62,000 homes in the next 8-year RENA cycle, including over 30,000 affordable homes at below market rate. Any contribution to that's really going to help. Also, the developer has really thoughtfully approached site design, and we really look forward to seeing this proposal as it moves forward, develop and how we can be supportive of community in this effort.
Thank you, Vince. Brad, please unmute yourself.
Yes, good evening. My name's Brad, and I was actually born and raised in what is now known as District 1. In fact, Westgate used to be my old stomping grounds in my formative years, and I actually attended what is now known as Moreland Middle School across the street. It used to be known as Castro Junior High School. Anyway, I'm really excited about this project. I've seen this particular parcel, this corner change so many times, and this looks really fantastic. I actually have a contrarian viewpoint. I am disappointed that we couldn't go up to 12 stories. Would have hoped that you could get to the maximum that it's allowed by zoning. And also, could we get away from the term affordable housing? There is no affordable housing in San Jose, as we know. It's too expensive. It's called subsidized housing. Let's refer to it as subsidized housing. I think most taxpayers are not stupid. They know it is subsidized housing. And why don't we ask our neighbors in Saratoga to build some affordable, quote unquote, housing? I think they'd probably laugh their heads off. I'd love to live in Saratoga. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brad. Donna Yuen, please unmute yourself.
Yes, I'm Donna Ewan. I'm a Baker West resident. One of my main concerns is the traffic gridlock. And we're being told that there'll be 994 residential units with phase 1. And when I read the EIR report, I just felt like there wasn't a thorough investigation regarding the traffic study. So we'd like to know more about what is being done in terms of the traffic study for this project. And have they really looked at how many vehicles are going to be on the road and how is that going to affect these major intersections? Because there already is, traffic gridlock. And I think this is just going to make it much worse. And this is only for phase 1 of the property. The other question I have is we are being told that there'll be 1,994 parking spaces. 994 of those spaces will be taken up by residents. Many of these residents may have 2 cars. We also have to consider the parking spaces for the customers at Whole Foods and the employees of these retail businesses. Have they taken those into consideration regarding parking spaces?
Thank you. Brenda Grimesy, please unmute yourself.
Sorry, yeah, this is Mark Grimsey. I have a couple of comments. One is, I'm a Baker West resident for some 28 years, and I'm now being asked to refrain from using water and conserve water, and now we're going to have another 1,000 units in our neighborhood using water. Are we going to, is there enough water to continue this housing growth, or do we need to think about our environment overall? Number 2, I am concerned about the traffic. We do have other items coming into the neighborhood. Costco is proposed. There's a Saratoga Cox building, Lawrence and Prospect building. There's a lot of items coming in. We have to look at traffic together. The building heights, I would like to see us limit it down like previous callers to 8 or 7 feet. And I would like us to keep the berm and not open it up to the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Alex Shore, please unmute yourself.
Hey, John. Hey, everyone. This is Alex Shore, Executive Director of Catalyze SV. Our local members from across Silicon Valley score development projects every month, and we had an opportunity to score this project not once, but twice. We scored it a second time because Sandhill Property Company had made improvements to the project, improvements like some of the ones you've heard about tonight. And we really applaud them for a great project, which our members scored a 4 out of 5. So we want to see it go forward with a couple improvements still, but a really excellent project, and we commend them for it. On a personal note, as a Saratogan, where I was raised, I believe the heights and scope of this project are completely reasonable and actually needed to solve the housing crisis and to build a San Jose for the next generation, a place I want to continue to live in. So thank you, Sandhill, for this project and the city for tonight's meeting.
Thank you, Alex. Stephen S., please unmute yourself.
Hello, I'm Stephen. First I'd like to say bravo. I feel much better about the project now than when it was first proposed, and I'm excited about the Whole Foods. I want to counter one of the comments about the parking levels. I'd like them maintained and possibly expanded, because as a matter of fairness, it's important to provide parking for new residents so our neighborhoods don't end up being a free parking lot, that didn't have to be built, because that would impact us negatively. And like others, the pain point remains congestion on Keto Road, which is 2 lanes and can't really be widened and is already congested with the properties emptied for redevelopment. I'd like to hear comment on what could be done to improve the throughput there. And those are my comments.
Thank you, Stephen. Randy, please unmute yourself.
Hello.
Hello, Randy.
Hi, I'm a resident also of Baker West. I've been here for quite a few years. Got 3 things to address. One being the density of the project. They're proposing 900 plus units in this first phase, where the envisioned plan for 2040 shows about 1,600 total units required in the whole urban village. We're trying to put in around 60% of these structures here in this project. If we could reduce the number of units, we could reduce the size of the buildings. Also concerned about the berm. If you look closely at the south west corner there, where it curves in, it looks like it's curving right into the berm. You said all along that the berm will not be touched. That's an issue. And concerned about traffic accessing the project, as the only way to get it into it on Keto is on the northbound side of Keto. Thank you.
Thank you. Alex, that was the last hand that was up. Do you want to give an opportunity to have staff respond? I see a couple hands being raised now. However, let's just see if we can have staff respond to some of the initial comments, and if we have time at the end, we'll go back to the hands seeing they weren't up when they ended. But let's see if we can respond and give some time for staff to respond to some of the questions and comments. Alex, I'll let you direct kind of where you want which staff or applicant to.
Yeah, sure. Eric, would you mind if I sort of just ran through some of the questions that we took down in order?
Yes, please. Let us know what question you want answered, and we'll decide which team member here can best answer that.
Yeah, sure. So just a couple. The first question that came across was, are solar panels part of this project?
Well, it's too early to know for sure. The city has a green building ordinance, and usually the decision about exactly how to comply with the green building ordinance is made after a project is approved and when we're planning for a building permit.
Thank you. How about the ratio of bedrooms to parking? I was wondering if you could speak to that.
Allison or Ken, I don't know the current parking ratios. Do you? Of course you do.
I think that we were very careful with this, not just because of some of the comments. We wanted to look at handling all parking on site. We wanted to make sure that we met code requirements for the city of San Jose, and that we wanted to make sure that we had some additional parking that was surface parking combined with the underground parking, so that we could again have those who want to come to the center and park on the surface and walk through to the main street or the promenade. So we do meet all the code requirements, and parking is reviewed in the EIR. I would encourage anybody to look at that. So.
Christy, did you want to speak to just sort of the general traffic questions and comments?
Hi, my name is Christy Chung. I'm an associate engineer helping oversee the transportation traffic analysis. Just a reminder, that process is still being reviewed and under review by internal staff. I think I heard questions about other projects within this area and making sure that we study them together. And just wanted to let you know that our cumulative analysis is being conducted through those other projects to include this one, as well as the project trips associated with those other projects. So there is cumulative analysis being conducted to make sure we encompass all the trips on the roadway. In regards to a lot of your traffic concerns, this project does include intersection operation analysis as well as queuing analysis. So the city staff will be reviewing that pretty closely and giving our due diligence to make any improvements as necessary to help intersections continue to be as efficient as possible.
Thank you, Christy. Alex, I think I'll try to answer some questions I heard about. In regards to density in the urban village does have a certain amount of capacity. However, if it ever hits that capacity, there is a floating amount of capacity throughout the city that the urban village could eventually apply to the project site. Keep in mind that there is a minimum density threshold that the project has to meet in order for it to proceed in an urban village that doesn't have an urban village plan yet. In regards to water and other specific aspects, staff always refers these to outside agents to determine if those issues are covered and are sufficient as part of the project. And I'm gonna look at any other staff. Is there any other questions that I think that we need to address that are part of it? If not, there are two more people speaking. And then after that, I'll let Alex kind of provide a summary as well as follow-up information. So I'm going to call three speakers that are left. So Amy, John, and Eric, they're the only ones. Then we want to respect everyone's time after that. And like I said, this isn't the only opportunity for you guys to provide comments. Amy, please unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Thank you. I'm not sure what happened. I did raise my hand earlier. I'm going to try to pare down my comments on behalf of the Moreland West Neighborhood Association. Sandhill is proposing a bold development plan, which includes roughly 150 below market rate units, a Whole Foods grocery store, and other attractive upscale features. Seemingly all good things, except that the project is not located in a vacuum. It would be built in an area already struggling with traffic and with meager public transit options. An area that may soon be flooded with cars heading to and from a Costco warehouse. Additionally, as Saratoga upzones to meet RENA requirements, it looks like we should expect hundreds of new homes along Saratoga Avenue and possibly 400 units at Prospect and Lawrence. The developer team is focused on creating an exciting, economically viable, profit-making project, but it's up to local citizens in the city of San Jose to seriously consider the impacts of this and other developments on our community. I would ask that I have just a couple more minutes because I'm trying to convey thoughts from my community. May I have another minute, please?
You have about 30 seconds, just to be fair for all the other speakers that we had basically not kind of limit the speaking.
Engaged since the early planning stages, my neighbors and I have watched with dismay as the proposed project has grown more dense and tall. How many residents would live in 994 new apartments? 2,000? Traffic mitigation, adequate parking, and school overcrowding are immediate concerns. The EIR for this project suggests mitigation measures such as encouraging employees to take transit and adding trailers to the Moreland Middle School campus. Our suggestions for fewer residential units. At any rate, we expect that the city of San Jose and others will invest in pedestrian and bicycle safety, public safety, more and better transit options, and additional parks and open space for new and existing residents in our area.
Thank you. Eric Dayrayer, please unmute yourself.
Hi, I live in the Big West neighborhood nearby the development. I had a question if the planners had projected the amount of children that would live in the new development and the impact on the surrounding schools, and if they can handle that additional overflow and the mitigations in place to handle said overflow. Also in the traffic analysis for the nearby neighborhood, if any simulations were done to show any cut throughs to the neighborhood to decrease traffic. We don't have speed bumps or anything like that. I don't believe that's that useful anyways. We do have a lot of street parking already in place, which makes it difficult to see when out and about walking. So I just want to make sure that to hear your feedback on the amount of increased children and mitigations on cross traffic in the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alec, can I answer the school question?
Yeah, go ahead, Eric, please.
Yeah, so the Moreland School District is suffering severe declining enrollment. And so reduced students means reduced revenue to the school district. And ultimately it'll affect the budget and cuts will have to be made. So the school district needs more children in order to keep classrooms full, campuses full, and to generate revenue to operate the schools. So there is no issue in terms of a negative impact on schools. It actually is positive because schools and children in California mean revenue to the school district.
Thank you, Eric. So I had one more other speaker and they've lowered their hand. So Joanne, I think you put your hand after I had cut it off, but you'll be the last speaker before we conclude. Joanne?
Thank you. I haven't been.
Sorry, 1 second. You can unmute yourself. Sorry about that. Joanne? Joanne, I think you're on mute right now. Joanne, can you press the unmute button, please?
Sorry. I haven't been able to attend other meetings, and so I may be asking something that's already been discussed. I haven't heard one word about earthquake. And so my question has to do with how the construction is going to be on these taller buildings and allowing for earthquake. 1989 really affected Saratoga and Los Gatos in severe ways. I had a freight train running through my house. I live very near here. And my second story felt if it had gone on much longer that the second story would have collapsed. So I think earthquake construction for your underground parking would be very seriously in need of consideration. And the height of the buildings, I can understand why people don't want them to be very high. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. The applicant team want to speak on the construction requirements and earthquake?
Yeah, this is Ken again, and the codes have improved since the '89 earthquake, something I went through too, and I think that these buildings will be type 1 construction, which is the highest quality, and will meet all the current codes and probably exceed them because knowing the developer as I do, they're going to want something that is safer even than the current code. So I do appreciate the comment. I think it's something that we are very concerned about and will be designing into the project. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think one other question somebody just asked about whether or not an Amazon warehouse would expand from a Whole Foods business. the current development standards proposed would not allow a warehouse of that kind of nature to be allowed on the site. Alex, turn it back to you.
Thanks, John. Just to be conscious of everybody's time, we're gonna close it out for the night. I'm gonna leave my contact information up, as well as Myra, the environmental project manager's contact information. And I just want to thank everybody for coming. And if you did not get to speak or you did not like to speak at the meeting, please feel free to reach out to me, and I can forward any questions to the applicant team or any relevant departments. And then last, there's a survey at the end of this. We would really appreciate anybody taking the survey. Let us know how we did in terms of feedback and outreach. And with that, everybody have a wonderful night, and we look forward to moving this project along. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alec. Thank you, Vice Mayor Jones.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Good evening.